and
Yeah.
I'll send it over. Let's hope no one's waiting to watch us live on YouTube because it's not happening. So we are being recorded though, and I will send it over to be posted as soon as possible. So sorry about that, folks, for the wait. Okay, we can start.
Good. Okay, welcome everyone. It's Wednesday, May 11th. It's 12:10, and I'd like to call the meeting of Historic Sites Board to order. First on the agenda, I think Kathy has a land acknowledgement.
Yes, now the committees of council and council itself are doing land acknowledgements. So I acknowledge with respect that we are on Robinson Huron Treaty Territory, that the land on which we are gathered is the traditional territory of the Anishinaabe and known as Bawading. Bawading is the home of Garden River First Nation, Batchewana First Nation, and the historic Sault Ste. Marie Métis Council. Thank you.
Okay, does anyone have any conflict of interest to declare on today's agenda? Everything looks good. Adoption of the agenda, we need someone to motion.
I move that we accept the agenda.
David, a seconder to accept the agenda.
It's Alicia.
Okay, there was a few, Jamie, Charlotte, Alicia.
Oh, it doesn't matter.
All in favor? Carried. Resolved that the agenda for Historic Sites Board meeting for May 11th, 2022 as presented be approved. Adoption of minutes. We need someone to motion resolve that the minutes of Historic Sites Board for April 13th. We need someone to motion that.
I'll move that.
David, a seconder.
It's Alicia. I will.
Alicia, thank you. All in favor? Resolved that the minutes of Historic Sites Board meeting of April 13, 2022 be approved. And the next on the list is business arising.
I think a lot of it's going to be covered under the agenda in my report today. So.
Okay, we'll refer to the accounts.
Just the accounts that were included in the agenda package is the latest that the system has for the city right now. So we're over a month behind. So it was a March statement. There's nothing that I have. It's obviously not going to show all the activity we had in April. But we'll get caught up next month. So if there's any questions on March, I can answer.
No questions or comments? Okay, Curator's report, Kathy.
Yes, I haven't had time to do a full report for you, but I made some notes. Off and running at full tilt till the end of May. We are booked solid starting the cruise ships have doubled. The first one starts on Sunday. And the schools we have schools calling, and then we're still doing we've had 3 events are selling out. So we have just lavender tickets. The Easter egg sold out. We brought 5 families, 20. So the full day ended up on the registration system we did for every 15 minutes. We had about 400 children registered. So then they brought their parents and sometimes grandparents, and we Charlotte and her children volunteered, and we all really panicked at one point thinking we need more people. So next year we have learned that I don't know whether this year we're noticing a real surge in interest and things are selling as fast as we can sell tickets, whether it's because of the reopening and people are ready to do things. So it's just been fantastic, I guess, is the words, that we're going to have a really productive year. So that's sort of where we're at. Yeah, lots going on. May and June are every day. So yeah, I'm just catching my breath. We are, and on top of all that, planning poutine, which starts June 30th to July 3rd back. And then we're this year with Entomica. So we've been meeting berries, bees, and beer. And it actually, I think we're calling it the year. So coming out on our events, there's multiple venues, as many people downtown. On anything, all of the historic sites board when notice, so that you know what's up and here. Thank you.
That's great. Municipal, Alicia or Jamie, do you have something to?
We did have a meeting. Well, we actually had two meetings because the first one didn't have quorum, so the meeting was yesterday. The big thing for me is from 2 months ago that we decided to host a Doors Open event. So that will be September 30th and October 1st. And Kathy's on that committee. It's on that working group, I guess it's called. So I've been contacting sites, and we're have another meeting tomorrow, I think. And yeah, it's I can say, who have we got coming? We've got the Algoma Conservatory has confirmed, and the library, the museum, and the Canal District are the four that we know. But there's probably another 15 that I've contacted. So we're just waiting for confirmation. And that date can coincides with the Truth and Reconciliation weekend. So there's an event at the Shingwalk property on Friday, and there's an event on Bachuan Island, or Whitefish Island, sorry. And the Canal District are doing a joint event on the Saturday. So the Doors Open will just blend in with that activity, and it'll, the more the merrier. Mr. Guy Traficante is talking about offering a tour of the clerk office, which was not part of the last Doors Open we did. And he's also offering a virtual tour of the loft because they have weddings going in at this time on Saturday. So anyway, they're working around. It'll be a combination of virtual and in person. And stay tuned. We'll probably set up potentially a Facebook page that will promote the sites and the event and the whatever else is going on with our partners at the same time. We would promote that too. So we'll find out more tomorrow. Virginia's providing us with a summer student that will be dedicated to this project. So we'll see how much work it is.
And just to add to that, if you don't mind, we will be part of it. So, and the Historic Sites Board will be asked formally if your assistance can be available during Doors Open, for depending on how many places we have open, and how many places don't have volunteers. So every place that agrees to be open for Doors Open is also being asked to supply their own volunteers, but we know there might be a couple that won't have some. And then, but if everyone's good, you can come hang out here with us.
And we're
Thank you, Jane.
they also took 2 months ago took on a heritage trees project that will be. I'm not on that committee, so I don't know the details of it. But there's an inventory of trees that will be updated and added. You know, people will have Harvey Robbins is on that committee, so it'll be interesting to see how that progresses.
Any questions or comments for Jamie? Sounds good. And next is new business.
I just actually noticed that the annual report that was part of your package is not under new business, and it should have been. I apologize for the error in the agenda. It is something that the Historic Sites Board has to approve before it goes to council. And council agenda package is being created this Friday. So that's why it's on today's agenda and in your package. I did do corrections for and changes from those that submitted. So I do have that now as a new final draft, but the content really hasn't changed. It's more grammatical. I can pull it up if need be. Otherwise I am trying to get to it as fast as I can to pull it up and share my screen. And then we can, it's just opening.
So Kathy, do you make a presentation at council when?
I will have to be available probably by Zoom to answer questions. They're still not doing a lot of presentations, if at all possible. So I'm not sure. If they ask me to, I will go and do a presentation, and I'll make it into a PowerPoint, some of the information as a quick review. But otherwise, I will be available by Zoom to answer questions when.
So do they declare May Museum Month, or have they done that?
The first, like May 2nd, they did.
Oh.
That was done already, and we were firearms exemption. That was. Oh my! Maybe it's my computer today. Why we couldn't get on YouTube? I can't even get to the files. You cannot minimize your window. Well.
Okay.
Let me just hold on. I think I have it. It's deciding. Well, I apologize for the delay in my computer today. Technology.
Kathy, you want me to see if I can bring it up on mine and you can talk and I'll scroll?
Well, I was just, yep, it's almost there, but
Oh, okay.
you can, one more second, and then if not, yes, I'll share this, see if I can get to share my answer. Not, we might be able to. participants, Conyers, and make David, you should be able to share your screen.
So Friends have their AGM in June. Is there any need to know about that event? Should we be attending or?
It's up to members of the Historic Site Board. You don't necessarily have to. It's on June, your email, June 6th at 5 p.m.
Will it be a Zoom meeting or an in-person?
It'll be offered both ways. So those that want to can, it's just from 5 until an hour.
So are the stories steeped in stone? Are they selling out those presentations in the theater?
Every one of them so far, and tomorrow night's is sold out. And so I'm presenting again. We have the format for Stories Steeped in Stone is a heritage presenter, and then depending on the main artists and presentation and their length of time, we try and fit in another artist in between. So like this week it's myself, then there's another theatrical 5-minute presentation by a local actress, and then we have George Houston and Jarrett. So it is, and we're all on the same theme, which is really interesting. So like I'm presenting on the corn pounder and the grist mill and maple syrup, and then the theatrical presentation is on maple syrup, and it's a local author's monologue for excerpt from their book, Paula Dunning, and it's making maple syrup in the kitchen. And then our show with George Houston and Jarrett Mills has a story and song, and once or twice in theirs it refers to the making of maple syrup too. So it's quite nice. The theater is got special effect lighting. We've got a stage, and we've got tables because we do serve, of course, this time it's going to be cornbread and maple syrup as part of the menu, but it's themed foods, and we have wine and beer. And so yeah, thank you, David. I see it.
Good. Okay. There you
Yay.
go.
So
I just wanted to mention I boiled maple syrup in my kitchen years ago in a different house, and it took the paint off a little bit on the ceiling. I'm like, oops, I should probably stop.
That probably had a sticky mess all over the walls too.
That wasn't too bad, but on the ceiling, yeah.
Oh, it's quite a dramatical little story. It's quite funny. This year's annual report, as you probably noticed when you read through it, has a lot of reference to comparison over the last few years because of COVID and the closures. And the executive summary is we had about a half a year of closure or open to the public last year. So it was looking at cost saving measures and how to operate. And thankfully, I did credit under the executive summary that we received federal and provincial COVID support funding, so which really helped offset some of the expenses for the last both years. So that's wonderful. And how, as you saw, if you can scroll to the next page. Oh yeah, mandate and governance always goes in the report. Those haven't changed. So this is what I was referring to. So I did a comparison on this, on everything in this report, just because it's nice to see that the comparison, and so people know that are viewing it that we do operate normally at a 30 over 30,000 in visitation on a regular year, and what kind of programming we do. And then, but what's really interesting is the virtual programming over the past 2 years, and how we pivoted to engaging 56,000 people. That's through all our social media and including the virtual programming to the schools. Can you scroll up a bit more, please? So there is the students, almost 2,500 students. And again, just it's been really nice to reach students in the district that we've never reached before. So now we're trying to work with the school boards on how we can still kind of do Zoom presentations and work with them and have them do activities in their classrooms for the district schools for the upcoming year and winter. Can you scroll again? Thanks, David. Here's the actual stats and the comparison over the time. So I think 2022, by the looks of it, we're going to be back in stats like 2019. And you can see the pink line when we had to pivot to virtual programming.
Kathy, I don't know if you can see it, but Charlotte is trying to ask a question.
You have your hand up. Yes. Okay.
Oh, thanks, David. I noticed on our fiscal year is till March, but the annual report is till December.
Fiscal with the city is December. And
fiscal. Okay, so our financials go to the end of March.
No. So everything is fiscal and operating, and everything is a calendar year.
Okay, I thought I saw on the fiscal. Okay, sorry about that. Thanks.
It's very confusing when we are working with federal and provincial because their year ends are always March 31st. So a lot of things carry over. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just these are the kinds of stats that we report every year, and it'll be interesting 2022 on the cruise ship line because we have double the cruise ships, so we'll see. Do you mind scrolling again, David? Any questions on any of this?
I have a question. I'm just curious. I mean, I think I know the answer, but so under special events in 2019, it shows 17,600. Would that be something really large like the Poutine Feast? Is that
Yeah.
special?
So if you take away Poutine, I think in there is about 10,000 people.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So our regular little special events that we do sort of every month in 2019 would have been maybe 8,000.
Okay, so something
without Poutine, yeah,
or the Easter egg hunt or something like that.
Yeah. So all our monthly special events in 2019 might have been 8,000, and then you add on Poutine to that. Yep. So this is what we did last year and how and look at the little bar. 2019 is way up here again because of Poutine. But I took the time to list out what we did and how we did it. so that you can see what we did by curbside, what we did by virtual, what we did on the front lawn, just working around all the different ways we could offer things during COVID. So can you scroll up again?
Could I just say one thing?
Yes.
If you can scroll back up. Even though that number is low for 21 for attendance, I think all the work that's been done virtually and advertising and programming and having such a momentum over the last year, you're going to see huge dividends for next year. And like we've seen with the Easter hunt, I think participation is going to be higher than ever for the next year because of keeping that momentum virtually and all the external programming that you've done. So kudos to you. It may not show in that little graph, but it'll show this year.
That's what I think too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. We'll take the kudos. There's the thinner version of me in that picture. So the education programs, as I said, it's, we did all of that last year in 2021 with virtual presentations, 13 Zoom calls. We grouped them, so it was actually a bigger audience on all at once. And we addressed, so if there was 35 classes, we did only 2 presentations for 35 classes. And for each of those presentations, we addressed the list of classes, and we would say, okay, let's hear from whoever up in Hornpain or whatever, and they would wave to us, the class would wave to us. And so we did, it was a lot of work to create virtual presentations, but it was, at the time when we actually did them, a little less work because we were able to, as I said, in 2 presentations, we got 35 classes for the Christmas program. So now that we have that underway, and we have, because of the COVID grants, all our equipment coming this month, so we will be able to do more virtual with better equipment. And even though we were only open half the year, we still, did a little more than half the revenue that we've done. So in the gift shop, which is great because originally when the Heritage Discovery Center was built, we rented the gift shop out to a third party, and it was at the time the Voyageur gift shop, and the rent that we received is sort of the target that I'm always striving for since we took the gift shop over on our own. So 17, 18, and 19, we were over that rental amount, so we'll get there again. Charlotte, your hand's up.
I am. I don't know if you can see my hand because I know as a presenter it's hard to see that. For the gift shop, this is my own thought. When I go through the gift shop, I start to see the same items, similar items. I'm just wondering if that's something that for frequent people that go through it, because I'm always itching to spend a little bit of money on gifts because I like to shop, but it would be good to see some more different, or like I see some themes, like I did see for Easter. So I'm just wondering if there was some thought on that of bringing some new products or some different artists.
Yeah, we lost our gift shop person to retirement, so.
Right. Louise, that's right.
Yes, so Louise is not here, and so we are currently struggling without someone dedicated. We plan on replacing that person and filling that position in the fall. So I've been sort of doing the ordering and just trying to get onto some of our wholesalers' websites and trying to see what new inventory we can get in. Up until recently, inventory at our wholesalers was not even available. So to purchase, the supply and the demand because of COVID was very limited. They were saying, this is what we're hoping to sell you. You can order, and if and when it comes in, we'll send it to you. So that's sort of how we did a little bit, but now we have to do a concentrated effort on bringing in new product. We're trying to reach out to new artists as well, just to answer Charlotte. So I think it'll just get there eventually.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
You're right about the supply and demand.
we'll have to
And
do some changes in the merchandising displays so that it looks different too.
and maybe potentially a cross promotion with Mackinac Island Fort, just to get tourists to come here, and then people who are interested in the old stone house would go over to the fort in Mackinac.
Yeah,
Something to think about.
And years ago, Algoma Country used to run the Canada store in Mackinac Crossing.
Yes, is that still there?
No, and so, and
That was a good shop.
actually, we have to bring it out again. We have their big moose statue and some of their furnishings. So, but I will find out from them how we can send some stuff down to Mackinac travel centers. So, I think Alicia has a question.
Yeah. Hey guys. Just in regards to talking about, the challenges of gift shops and just having the same products, and it's not just yours. I find that at the Sioux Museum, it's the same kind of thing. We have books on consignment from local authors, which is great. Different types of items like clothing and buttons and old postcards, but it's hard to find new material, especially during COVID with, that whole supply and demand, and not having a lot of in-person visitation also put a damper on our sales, even with the online gift shop. But yeah, it's one of those things where your priorities right now are more so on trying to get people back into the museum, but then also you want to target them to come visit the gift shop with new items. And it's definitely felt at our place too. So it's not just your gift shop, it's ours too. But hopefully, like you said, in time we can like update different displays, make it kind of fun and exciting, innovative, and go from there, I guess.
Yeah, we'll get there again.
Yeah.
Can you scroll down again now, David, for me? Thanks. Yep, just a little bit more. Museum standards. So there are standards for a provincial museum, and to meet actually the standards so that we are able to apply for the CMOG every year. And even with, as you can see, for 2021, the minimum days to be open for a museum is 180 days. So even though the museum itself was not open, the Heritage Discovery and the gift shop were. So, and then the ones that say like July to November, when we were fully sort of under restrictions open, we meet the minimum still, even at a half a year. And I don't know, I think CMOG will probably have to be a little more lenient on meeting the museum standards. If you can scroll down a bit more, the next standard they also ask for is hours. Oh, just right there, thanks. So we have to be open so many days and so many hours. And it's in order to be classified as a full-time museum to receive support from CMOG. So we were open the minimum. So even in 2020. So yeah. And this was just, I did a review of what was affected by the pandemic in the past couple of years. And then at the bottom of that page is a little chart just to make it visually easier.
So Kathy, why is the word affected underlined in higher up?
Oh, is it? This is David's. It's not anymore.
It's not.
Oh,
So-
this is the version you put out with the agenda package. I thought
Yeah.
this was the updated one.
No, it's just been tweaked a little bit more, and Jamie made me aware that maybe we don't need to say affected, underlined, and bolded. So I took it off, and I've made all your little changes, Jamie. But this is not it.
I thought this was a new version of the.
No, because I couldn't pull mine up. David shared his.
Oh, David has the old version. Okay.
No, this is the second version, I guess. This
So
is the
the
one
final
from last week.
the final third version has these little things changed. So it doesn't say we're affected. It says it, but not in bold and underlined. So yes, we've changed a few little things
Okay, no
and
worries.
some grammatic things that Jamie made me aware of. So yep. So
Kathy?
Yep.
I was just going to say, did you tell us already when this will be presented to Civic Center, to the
So,
City Hall,
At
City
the-
Council?
Today, if you approve it at this, even though this is the second draft and there is a third, but it's not much different, it will go Friday to the agenda review, and then it'll be on the agenda for May 24th council meeting.
Okay.
So I don't think there's much, like, these are just review of volunteers and staffing. So I'm very happy to say we got federal and provincial funding again this year. So see, Jamie, well, this one has the number in there because your version, Jamie, for 2021 had a question mark or an empty.
Well, Kathy, this brings, I never occurred to me before, but usually when I work on a document like this, on the footer around here, you can have a version number or a issue date.
Oh, okay.
So it really helps with things like where there's 3 versions of this document floating around.
Okay.
This is, other than me remembering where it came from, I have no way of telling which one this is.
That's just more details on the virtual engagements for you and the virtual learning. And because we were closed, we had our summer students working on digitizing 30 boxes of artifacts from the attic last year. So speaking of collections management, you might have seen that we had a job posting up for an assistant curator. So it's part-time, but we're doing interviews this afternoon. And so what will now, the collection will be the focus, as well as having that person join us and help us in operations. So, but as the curator, and I just don't get to the collection. And next year, if we get to the roof of the old stone house, the collection is going to have to be dealt with because that's one of our main storage areas. So that's just further information for you, not on 2021 collections. Thank you. I think that's it. Yeah, and just the restoration that we're currently doing, which is, it's really moving along fast right now. They've been here 7 days a week, and the foundation is almost done. So then they will bring back the windows, then they'll work on the front portico, and at the same time we'll be doing the chimneys. So we might be done soon. So this is part of the bylaws for the Historic Sites Board and your governance in those regulations from council. It says that an annual report will be presented on the operations of the Ermitinger site. So this meets that mandated bylaw. Thank you, David.
Now, Kathy, so the annual report, this is from 2022 to 2027, and then it's reviewed again, right? It's a 5-year?
The annual report is every year presented, and it does do comparisons usually in the report. The strategic plan is a 5-year plan.
Oh, okay.
Two different things.
So is this incorporated in the strategic plan? The annual report is?
The annual report is just a part of the bylaws of the Historic Sites Board.
Now, would you like us to approve this today? Is that what or are we waiting?
No, it has to be, if you're in agreement to approve it, yes, we have to have it moved and seconded and carried in order to take the report to council. So you need a move and a seconder.
Okay, so the annual report, we need a motion to approve our annual report as presented today. Charlotte?
Yeah.
Charlotte can, and a seconder?
I'll second.
David, all in favor of our annual report presented as is? Looks good. Carried. So our annual report presented for 2022 is approved.
2021.
Oh.
That's okay.
Okay.
Annual report of the operations of 2021.
All right. It's been a long 2 years.
That's okay.
We're getting them all combined here. Good work, Kathy.
Okay.
So I think our agenda is done for today.
Just a reminder when Madam Chair, that the next meeting I sent out an email. I've been asked to present at Cultural Tourism for Ontario Culture Days Symposium on the day of our next meeting. So I'll be in Toronto. So if you don't mind moving it to the 15th, June.
Okay.
Yep, June 15th.
Our next meeting will be June 15th at 12 noon.
And I'm hoping that it'll be in the summer kitchen with our new live streaming equipment.
That would be wonderful.
Maybe.
Charlotte, a seconder, adjourn.
Oh,
Thank
sorry.
you, everyone.
Who seconded?
Oh.
Alicia?
Alicia.
Yeah, okay.
Sorry.
Yes, I did. Sorry.
Thanks. Thank you, everyone. Sorry for technical difficulties. Nice to see
Can you hang on after the meeting? I wanted to. We need to get those dates nailed. Okay.
The red coat crewman help for a bit. So, everyone have a good day. It looks beautiful out.
Have a good day,
Hey, everybody.
Bye.
The recording.